Beanshooter, I like the gym, let's go. Beanshooter, somebody's gotta let them know. Beanshooter, I like the gym, let's go. Beanshooter, it's not a line he doesn't toe. In a world full of dogs, you're gonna need a dog catcher. If you're wearing a mask out there, and fresh air's gonna get you. He always shoots from the hip. For iced coffee, take a sip. Toss it out the window. At a bar, let her rip. Beanshooter, like a gin, let's go. Beanshooter, somebody's gotta let them know. Beanshooter, like a gin, let's go. Beanshooter, there's not a line he doesn't toe.
We're back. I'm back from New York, episode 58. Got a special guest tonight, a real good guy, funny guy. Met him, I don't know, a couple of years ago. I'm not sure when, but we talked a lot, online through Instagram, and just a genuine guy, not a phony. You get a lot of phonies out there, and he's just a good fucking guy, and he's very funny. My guy, nobody cares, Anthony.
What a fucking intro that was. The first time we met in person, you were leaving Encore and I was coming in. We were in the vestibule.
Oh, yes. I remember that. Yeah, you were going to play a little blackjack.
Oh, Degenerate Campbell. Yeah, I'm trying to slow down. Yeah. But it's a lot easier said than done. Yeah. Especially now that sports betting's legal and you can just download it.
Speaking of that, they built a casino up around me. I'm in Lowell. They built one in, they didn't build one, but it was a part of the Pheasant Lane Mall. So they got a sports book in there, and I go there for the Kentucky Derby, and I got a couple horses, and one of them wins. I go to bet. I get there, right? I'm gonna box him, this and that. I get there. It's like 10 of 7. I'm at the sports book. They go, "Oh, we don't take horse bets." I'm like, "This is a fucking sport." "Oh no, you got to go to the brook, Seabrook." I go, "Yeah, well the race starts. It's 6:53. The race starts in 7 minutes. I'm not driving a Seabrook, but I was fucking." Bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, how do you not take bets on a horse race if you're a sports book?
So you were gonna place a bet on a horse, and then that horse ended up winning?
I ended up calling up. No, the horse I liked actually came in third, but somebody texted me, that nut we had on the podcast, who's messaged me 1,000 times, Greg Carbonello, and it actually gave me the winner. He's like, bet this horse. So I got to at least, give him credit where credit is due. So he's telling me that 10 minutes for the race. So I'm there. I would have just been like, boom, this, that.
Right.
I would have got it. I would have hit it.
I try to stick to like sports that I know.
Yeah.
I don't know animals too well.
Yeah.
So I stay away from horse betting. But once I lose my bets for the night, and there's no more NBA games, there's no more NFL games, it's 3 a.m. and it's ping pong, it's any fucking league anywhere that's taking bets at that time of night.
Did you ever see the stand-up routine Artie Lang did about Degenerate Campbell?
I haven't.
Oh my God. He's like, you're Degenerate Campbell. The whole thing is hilarious. But he says, when you're walking around, you're just blasting an 8-ball up your nose and your jaw's going haywire.
It sounds
and you're walking around looking for wiffle ball scores in fucking Nebraska. Hey, I'm looking for the score to Ramapo versus Don Bosco.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
That's it. When you're a degenerate, you're a degenerate. But the Derby, I'm not like I'm out betting horses all the time. That's a big thing. The Breeders' Cup, the Preakness, and the Derby. Like I get some bad stories with that.
Now I look at, like DraftKings will show you your like year in review. So 2 years in a row, I'm like down probably 25, 30 grand sports betting.
Oof.
Just on the apps. Never mind going to the casino. I don't even tally that down. I've done because I've been I'm sure you do after hearing that. But
especially now with those statistics.
I've had other problems in the past with other things that were a lot worse.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of treating it how I treat that, where it's like zero tolerance. I can't fuck around with it because I'll do one $50 bet, $50.
Yeah.
But then I come one rebound away from hitting a 10-leg
Yeah,
parlay.
that's
and
where
my
they get
50
everyone, these prop bets.
Oh.
That's where they get everyone.
They get me, dude. I've had some nice hits. I've had some exciting hits that like inspire vacations. They've been so good, but
Yeah.
I just know to stay away from it. It's been bad, and
You always give it back. You give it back.
Always, every time,
You give it back.
all of it.
So the other night I was in New York, and I went to some fights. I was with Mickey Ward and my friend Richie Bryan. We go to the Boxing Hall of Fame every year. Dickie usually goes, and on Saturday night they have some fights, and they have the parade Sunday morning. I was with that Sydney Sweeney, you know her?
I saw the picture.
Yeah.
I saw the picture. Yeah.
Right.
Never
And,
been more jealous of you in my entire life. Besides every time you go to Colombia. But I'm sure we'll get into that at some point.
We'll get into that. Where were we? So the fight Saturday night, I come down the stairs in the casino, and the basketball game's on. I mean, the hockey game's on, and it's I'm watching the end of the third period. Then it's going into overtime. I'm watching. I go, I'm just gonna go back to the hotel. So I get in my car because it was like 10 minutes away from the casino because I was too cheap. I don't want to pay $400. Colombia ruins you in that aspect.
Yeah, right.
In
No
many
question.
aspects, Colombia ruins a lot of things for you back home.
Very low investment, very high return.
Yeah. Hotels, 50 a night.
Right.
I see 350, 400. What does that? That's why when I was just down in Tulsa, that senator, Mark Wayne Mullins, he's like Trump's right hand man. He wanted me to stay at his house. He's inviting me to his house.
Sean's friend.
Come to my ranch and sleep in my guest house. He's like, what are you doing at the, West Shore Inn or whatever in West Tulsa? He's like, people get killed there all the time. Like, what are you doing? And it was bad.
Did he forget who
It
he was
bad.
talking to?
Yeah,
or-
exactly. I'm like, well, I'm not going to, it was $43 a night. Sure.
Right.
So I was going to my hotel and I was talking to the kid, Mark Goodman. You know Mark?
I'm so retarded when it comes to names.
South Boston kid. And
Good kid.
I'm talking to him, and he never bets. Like, he never goes on DraftKings and bets. And he's like, I just put this bet in. Fuck it. Marshawn to score the game winner, 15-1.
Yeah.
So I'm driving with him, and I'm like driving down the highway, FaceTime, and all of a sudden he's like, "Fuck!" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "He just hit the fucking post." And like, he come this close, and then all of a sudden, like 3 minutes later, he just starts screaming, going crazy. Marshawn.
They scored, right? Yeah, he scored, right?
Marshawn scored the
He's
game
a
winner,
beast.
15-1.
I love it.
So, Mark, you owe me dinner after that. Nice little come up. He put a small wager in, but decent.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Oh, yeah, 15-1.
Enough to get
Nice.
excited.
Yeah, nice little return on your bet. But yeah, those prop bets will get you every time.
How hot was Sydney Sweeney in person?
She was pretty
Like everything she's
pretty damn hot.
oh god.
You knew she was an A-lister when she got out. Everyone snapped because we were in this little private thing. She came first, and I didn't really realize who she was at first. And I'm like, man, I know this name. I know this name. And then afterwards, like getting ready for the parade, she come in the thing and just talked to her for a minute. But everybody was all around her, and she's playing Christy Martin, who's probably the first female boxer to make a splash in the early 90s. She was like, if you Google her highlights, like, just KOing people with overhand right. And I didn't know much of her story, but I guess after everything, she married some guy, and the guy was like really abusive, and ironic because she was like a, real tough broad. And, and I guess the guy really fucking almost like Ike and Tina Turner was really bashing her in. And the guy ended up stabbing her like 3 times. The guy's doing like 25 years in prison right now. So Sydney Sweeney like contacted her and made a movie about her life.
Oh, that's cool.
So they're showing the pictures of her, and I thought it was old pictures of Christy Martin. She was beefed up, like flexing, and it was Sydney Sweeney. I guess she put on like 20 or 25 pounds for the role.
Oh, I love that. How quickly after you met her did you search for her titty pictures on the internet? Did you not?
Before
you
No.
did.
So, Mike, next time I'm looking at my phone right now, that's what I'm looking
Now,
for.
did you
So
hear
you
about
know
the
that.
soap? I mean, I might have copped the bar of soap from her.
Yeah. Oh, the soap where it has her bathwater in
Dirty
it. I did
bathwater.
hear about that.
Yeah.
That's good
So
for
I'm
her.
going to do the same thing.
Yeah, I might put it in
Don't wipe, just hop in the tub,
Nice.
scoop the water out,
I
stop
might
making
break a
bar.
piece off and put in my coffee in the morning. She's incredible. I don't get starstruck often. I've seen some pretty cool celebrities, but in like my Miami days, but I'd freak out if I saw Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with her. She's unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah. That she's like I don't know. I love her, dude. She's my type.
So us older guys, well, I shouldn't really say that because some people.
So that'd be
watch
like you
Netflix
running
and-
into Cindy Crawford.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Same
yeah,
thing, right?
but I mean, I don't even watch movies anymore. But like, she's on this Euphoria, this long running.
Yeah,
HBO
that's what
series.
got her on the map.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was on a couple other things too, but I don't even know what Euphoria is, you know?
It's a good show. You might like it. It was a little much, like, but they, you know, it talks about I mean, it looked like how I was in high school, like with the drugs and like kind of like not glorifying that side of it, but more showing like the seriousness of it and what it can all lead to.
Oh,
You know, because what happens is everybody parties, but then there's a couple people that have that gene that will take the party into the next level, and
Really?
it kind of shows that.
Like
part
all
of it.
three of us.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, there's people like that, Justin.
yeah, they exist.
So that was your thing before gambling, you said? So when you alluded to that?
Yeah, I mean, my story's not so unique. You know, I was probably like 14, 15 years old, and all my friends are like experimenting with alcohol, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to try everything.
Yeah.
What's this going to do to me? What's that going to do to
Right.
me? And so I graduated high school in 2008. So that was right during like the pill era where like, you know, OCs and perk 30s were around. And as soon as I tried one of those, it was heaven on earth. Like I'm
No
not
question.
doing anything else. And, yeah, I didn't, you know, you guys know how it is. I'm preaching
Sure.
to the choir. You've seen that like when everybody has a different tolerance. So you might see guys that do perks or OCs for 3 months, then they're shooting heroin. I was one of those guys that hung on for years
Oh, okay.
and years before I switched to the, you know what I mean? The
No,
brown
I didn't know
stuff.
that. I didn't know
Right.
that about you. I didn't
And
know.
where'd you go to high school? Where'd you grow up?
Bridgewater Raynham.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I went to, I grew up in Bridgewater. I moved out of Brockton when we were like 7 or 8. My parents started doing
A lot
well.
of Cape Verdeans in
Yeah,
Brockton.
all huge
My
population.
parents are both went to Brockton High. They're both Brockton people. Both sides of my family. And so when my mother kicked me out of the house when I was 18, I moved back to Brockton. And then that's when things really started to go downhill for me out there. But when I first started with the social media, I talked about recovery a lot. At the time, I was one of those freaking business development reps.
Yeah.
I did that, not proud of it. And, you know, I was doing that for a while. So the social media stuff started happening just as I was turning my life around at the same time. So it was a weird adjustment both ways. And I would talk about my past with drugs and stuff like that. But then I started getting so popular where it was like, I don't want this stuff on the internet
Your whole
before
thing.
I have a conversation with my son about it.
Yeah.
You know, my son now he's going to be 12 in July. At the time is like, I don't want him to hit, you know how kids in school are, like hear something before he has a
Mike
conversation with
knows.
dad, you know?
I know all about
You know what I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
And then,
Seen that movie.
so I was clean and sober for 3 years. I tried for many, many years and couldn't get over 90 days. I was one of those repeat offenders in and out of detox.
Yeah. Me too.
And then, so for the last 2.5, I drink socially and I smoke weed. And I didn't want to talk about that at all online because I didn't want to send a message to anybody that followed me that was in recovery that
Right.
like, hey, I was clean for
Right,
3
right,
years.
Now you can drink and smoke
Now
weed.
I can look at my life. I can drink and smoke weed. I just didn't want to send that message across because I feel like, you know, it would do more people a disservice than it would benefit my career.
I could see that. But I just think there's a million ways. One thing, you know, I'm a recovery coach now, right? So, and I'm keep training for recovery because I just found out that there's a million ways to do this. You know, we're of the opinion, of course, like me and Mike are like diehards, right? Complete abstinence of everything, you know,
Right.
and that works best for me. But we're purists, me and Mike. We're like, yeah, you touch a drug, if you do any maintenance drugs, but there's a lot of ways to do it. People can do a maintenance drug and be productive members of society and not be out looking for drugs, robbing things, you know? So, I mean, there is a million ways to do it. So I think that just be who you are. And I think you're a successful guy now.
Yeah, it's been tough.
I think one of the best ways to do it, and it was just on the news today, they legalized it. I forget where it was in Texas, but they legalized it somewhere that Ibogaine. You know what
I've
I
thought
mean?
about
I read
that.
a lot about that, and I'm like, you know, that seems pretty cool. You know, it's not like you're on some maintenance drug forever, and you know, you just, you know, you go into like a, you know, hallucinogenic thing for a while, and they say it fucking alters you totally.
A lot of Army vets, a lot of military
Depression
people
stuff.
that have PTSD and
Yeah,
stuff are doing
PTSD.
it, and they're like making massive turnarounds.
Yeah.
And I've thought about it.
You don't want to look at yourself that deep. I kind of don't
No,
want to either.
no. I mean,
There's a few things me and Mike don't want to change about ourselves. So,
Right.
yeah.
No, but it does. It's just like, the steps, everything else. It's going to make you a better person.
Right.
In my mind, I don't know. I've never done it, What about you? You thought about doing it?
I've thought about it. Maybe for the experience. I think now, like, and this will probably be the first time that I've ever talked about this on any platform. I've sort of kept it closer to the chest. But, I wouldn't talk about it if I wasn't comfortable talking about it. So I don't mind. It's not like I'm like going to regret saying this shit on the fucking podcast. I kind of came here like giving myself the green light to talk about it, where
That's cool. Thank you, by the way.
yeah,
You know what
I mean, it's just it has a lot to do with you have 30,000 followers. This is exciting. I'm up to 850 on Instagram.
You're gonna hit 1 million.
So now I'm putting
Amazing.
more thought into what I'm saying, and a lot of it has to do with my son being at that age where kids are getting cell phones. Their parents, some parents are, letting their kids have Instagram,
Yeah.
whatever, that's up to them. My son doesn't, but like a kid sees me talking about this online and then says something to my son in school.
Yeah.
I would rather delete everything I've ever done online and just go work at my father's jewelry store than have him have one tough afternoon because he heard something about that online.
Yeah, I get it.
And then it's also what I alluded to before. It's the message. I don't want to send that message to anybody that might be like, because, you guys have been doing it a lot longer than I have. And so you've seen people be in the rooms, accumulate clean time, go out and try to drink like a normal person.
Oh, so many
and
times.
from my experience, it might work out for 5% of that. 95% of the people end up going right back to where they were before.
That's what I would always do. I'd get out of prison or jail and I'd say, I'm just going to hang around with my, normal friends, right? The ones that go to the game and have a few beers. And sometimes it would last 3-4 months. It wasn't like I'd go out and get drunk one night and run and want to blast coke and do dope right afterwards. But sooner or later, one night I'd get drunk and I'd make that snap decision. Who's got the shit? We want to get something.
Yeah.
Like once I make that decision, I feel like, when your thinking's altered a little, it's easier to make that bad decision. Like now I play the tape out in my head. If you drink, probably going to go here or there. But yeah, like you said, everyone's different. You don't want to, you don't want to put that out there and people think it's all right. But, you got to be yourself too.
100%.
You think
100%.
about someone saying something to your kid. You think about some
100%.
guy you don't even know is going to think he can drink and goes get high. If you go through life, I understand you got a huge platform now. Like you don't want to say anything really too crazy that's really going to hurt you or put you in a bad light. But some things like that, I think maybe you're overthinking a little. Like you're doing good. That's your story. That's what's working for you. I mean, it's nothing to be a fucking ashamed of. But everyone's different, man,
Yeah, kind of. So I was in Miami. My former boss, who him and I don't get along with anymore. I won't drag him in the mud on the fucking podcast.
You can do it.
We don't get along anymore. But he used to, one of those treatment center guys that has fucking millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So we're going to Miami every 2 weeks on the yachts and all the clubs and sober.
Yeah.
And we'd go to the clubs and we'd get the best table at Live.
Yeah.
Frickin' 15 girls in the section, 2 sections, so we have more
Such a
space.
waste of money, all that.
And
I
all
know.
the girls we're with, right, are drinking the bottle service that
the
we're
bottle
getting.
service. Imagine
And none of the guys
what
are
were the
drinking.
bills? Like,
Oh, the bill, like 20, 30, 40, 50 and up.
Yeah, crazy.
Crazy. Like on an easy night.
Bananas.
Astronomical.
Yeah.
And none of them are drinking. And I used to say to them, like, guys, this is kind of retarded what we're doing. We're in our 30s. This is kind of gay.
Yeah.
What are we doing, dude? I used to
Some
feel
gloves,
so
some gold
uncomfortable.
bracelets
And a lot of these guys were I'm like, at the time we first started, maybe a year and a half clean. These guys are 10 years, 8 years, 6 years. And I wasn't uncomfortable being around alcohol. It was more like uncomfortable with how corny it was.
Right. No,
If
I get
I'm
it. I totally
sober,
get it. Yeah.
What are you doing buying a bottle for $10,000,
Yeah.
right?
Ace fucking whatever.
And so
Spades,
every 2 weeks, no exaggeration, we're out there. Yachts, clubs, best restaurants, Lambos, the whole fucking thing. And on one of the Miami trips, I was out by myself in like an outdoor mall, and it like almost 3 years clean, like Narcotics Anonymous, working in treatment. And I wasn't even having a tough day. I wasn't having an amazing day. I was like kind of even keel. And I walked by a bar and I said, I'm going to have a fucking Corona and stop being such a pussy. And I sat down, I had a Corona, had another one, and then I had the thought in my head where it was like, oh, Christ.
Yeah.
This can go 3 ways. I can run right back to Falmouth and raise my hand at a meeting and say, I screwed up and get honest. Yeah. I could go balls to the wall and now just fucking destroy my life and go do what I really want to do and get high and do this and that. Or
go to sleep.
I can see if I can handle it.
Yeah.
Like a normal person and see how, so like a gentleman. Fuck yeah. So I went 1 year of secretly drinking socially without telling a soul. Nobody.
That's impressive.
Knew.
That is
Nobody
impressive.
knew. 1 full year. Strippers knew because we'd go to Tootsie's and I'd be like, hey, when they turn around, pour this tequila and this Red Bull type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody knew. And then after a year, I was like, everything's fine. Now, why am I hiding it? So I started to slowly tell people. And the last person I told my mother, I told my son's mother, I told my close friends. And the last person I told was my father. Because he's old school immigrant. Like he's a scary guy to tell certain things to. Yeah. And I didn't tell him until 2 weeks ago. Before my sister's wedding at the airport. Because I didn't want him to make a scene at the wedding that I'm drinking.
Yeah, the old school Cape Verdeans, but they'd lock you in the basement.
Two and a half years before I told my father. And I was at the airport because we were going to the wedding. And I was like, I got to fucking say something.
And how did he take it?
At first, you could kind of tell that he was a little like shocked. And then he goes into, listen, I don't drink. I can go. I can have fun. I don't drink. And I'm like, all right, cool. We're talking about me. Yeah. Like, I don't know. And then he ended up within an hour, like made a joke of it where like he wanted to take a nap. His fiance didn't want a nap. And he was like, oh, just go have a fucking couple beers with Anthony then. And so then everything was fine. The wedding was smooth. I didn't puke on anybody. It was great.
Where was the wedding?
Portugal, Lisbon.
Oh, nice.
Dude. Unbelievable. Have you ever been?
No.
Paradise, dude.
Yeah, right.
Prostitution, legal. Not saying I partook in anything, wink, wink, but legal. So
valid point. Anyway, I'm saying for the audience.
I did one of those like slip and slide massages. You know what I mean? The Nuru. I always wanted to try. You see it in porn and you're like, I want a girl to rub oil on. You know what I mean? Slide on me. Yeah.
And again, not condoning porn.
They're like Pete Rose sliding into the whole place.
She was slide, dude. We were sliding. We were wrestling in Lisbon, and it was cool.
I love it.
But you know, that's not the only reason why I loved it. It was just everything was cheap.
Yeah.
Food was great. Just the culture. Yeah. It's like, imagine the funnest city in the United States, except instead of skyscrapers, all the buildings were made in like the year 1400. It just looks cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. You've been traveling around. I know you get to Cape Verde, but going back to when you first got sober and the social media started taking off, it's a strange thing, right? When you're seeing like old friends and they're seeing you everywhere, right? And they're like, the fuck is that you on there? I mean, your face is on everything. So obviously a lot of people hear my voice and, know me, or kids I grew up with. One of them just passed away, my buddy Franchulo, but Frenchie. But we went to a Patriots game 4 years ago. And he's got season tickets. And we always go to Super Bowls. We go to like 3 games a year. So we pull up and he always tailgates. So he's got the grill and the little tent he sets up in the cornhole. So these 2 trucks pull up next to us and it was Maine, Black Bears kids, right? So I see them. They're looking over, and one of them says something to the other one, and they're turning around. So I'm like, oh, here we go, right? Yeah. So my son's there, right? They're like, Beanshooter. And I'm like, yeah. And they're going nuts, and they're calling their friends on FaceTime. And my friend's looking at me, and he's fucking my age. Right? I'm 56. I mean, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I'm 53. He goes, what the fuck are all these kids calling me? I forget. He goes, Bean Papa? What are they saying? What the fuck are they all saying?
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, the college kids love you, dude. They love you, dude. What's funny is like, I'm younger than you, but my demographic versus your demographic is completely swapped. Where like my demographic is mostly women from 35 to 65. That's my demographic.
Wow.
I don't have a lot of young people that follow me, and because the content style road or whatever that I went down, I've pigeonholed myself into that's
Not
my
really.
audience in a sense
Yeah.
where I'm broadening my horizons, but that's my bread and butter is that audience. So I'd love to tap into the, I kind of am reserved with some of the stuff I say because it's like, the 55-year-old, the 68-year-old lady and fucking.
At least you have some women following you. If I showed you my, thing, it's so that's some girl in Colombia, so she thinks I'm famous. If I showed you mine, it's like 94.5% men, and it's like from age 18, and all these kids in high school. So when they create an Instagram, they don't say they're fucking 15, right? Because they have to, because that's the only thing. There's not a lot under that. But I know all these young kids follow me, so it's like 18 to 35,
right?
And then a few 35 to 44, and it's 94, 95% fucking guys.
Well,
And everybody wife loves you though, Mike.
Yeah,
all the wives love you.
Yeah, all my friends'
Listen,
wives.
I got put onto you. I got put onto you by a female.
Really?
Years ago, Jackie Donovan.
Oh, yeah.
Jackie Donovan, Jackie Donovan's the reason why I'm even doing any of this. Not like she was my creative director or anything, but she sort of peer pressured me into making content because she'd follow me on Snapchat. One of my best friends, Francis Kenny, is from Everett. Wicked funny kid. He just, struggles big time. Washington Street type. Franny Kenny, love you, buddy. Great kid. Funniest kid. If he was to ever like really turn things around, he would destroy all this social media. He's unbelievable. We, met in sober living down in the Cape and just immediately clicked. And he used to do this thing on his Snapchat. We'd be living in the sober house together. And, I really looked up to the kid. He's just, I wanted to be Franny, you know what I mean? And so he'd have his phone out and he'd be recording me and I wouldn't know. And he'd be like, hey, Varela, like, how was your day? What'd you do today? And I'd get all jazzed up to tell him about my day. And he'd point the camera in my face and go, nobody cares, Anthony.
Oh, really?
Shit.
And so then people would come up to me because he had a popular platform, like following, not like a lot of followers, just people in the city knew him.
Yeah.
And then when he would fall off, he was like the funny homeless guy. You know what I mean? He'd be in North Station. There'd be somebody like with a guitar, and Franny would just stand there with a sign with an arrow pointing to the guy saying, this guy sucks. He's like that type of guy.
Yeah.
So I'd go places and they'd be like, nobody cares from Franny Snapchat?
That's how you got that
and
name.
I'd be like,
That's wild.
But this is years before I ever started it. And so then Jackie started following me on Snapchat and I would do these rants or whatever. And then when TikTok first started to explode, this is like the video early 2020.
The girl in the gym.
The girl in the gym. But what happened is that video was recorded months before I posted it. Jackie was like, you got to get on TikTok. And I was like, I'm not doing it. So gay. I'm not doing that.
I know.
And then she was like, I'm telling you, just post videos you've already done and watch what happens. And the fourth video I posted got 1 million views. And after that, I was roped in. All the attention, the likes, people messaging me. I was like, I got to figure this out.
Yeah.
So I figured out my niche when I was, maybe 4 or 5 months clean. The first time I had ever gotten 4 or 5 months in my entire life with all the years that I tried. And so quite literally as the social media stuff was taken off, I was like getting a debit card for the first time at the same time.
Me too. I never, 43 years old, it's over. Never had a bank account.
Nothing.
Same with me.
Nothing. And so it was adjusting to life clean and like getting those responsibilities back, especially as a dad and everything else that comes with that, where I had people to go to. There was people that did it before me. But the other lane, I didn't know anybody that was doing that. And I didn't know anybody that was doing that, juggling the sobriety at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's been an adjustment, a wild ride.
It's been cool. No heavy lifting.
No, I fucking love it, dude.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's fucking amazing.
I love it.
It's amazing. And me and Johnny, you started doing stand-up recently, and you're a funny guy anyway, but we went to the show and, you were fucking hilarious. Not to, if you sucked, I wouldn't come on here and say you were hilarious. I'd be like, I went to your show. It's funny. Like, you were really, really funny. You had the place cracking up, Not as funny as Gary Balls.
Yeah.
Not as funny.
Shout out to Gary Bowles.
Epic. Boy from Boston on Instagram.
I always say if I could be half the man my father is, I'd be in good shape. If I could be half the comedian Gary Bowles is, I'm fucking getting a Netflix special.
I love it.
But Gary's doing good. He's doing well for himself too. I mean, nobody tries harder than that kid.
No, and
I joke around my friend Mark. I say he's got the heart of a lion because he's up every day. A lot of times I'm like, I don't want to post it. Like you said at the beginning, like going through old videos just to post something. You feel like you gotta. And my content edgy. Like Instagram wipes out my pages.
I know.
Cuts me out for 3 months, and now I'm at a spot where after they shut me out for 2 months, the guy from Be a Man got back in because people could see my page, but I couldn't get it on my phone. Everyone I talk to, hackers that get people's pages back, everyone said, I've never seen this. I go, of course you haven't. It's me. But when I got it back, it said I couldn't go live until 2026. and this was in January. January, February. And when I got it back, I had 284,000 followers. And it's been like 3 months and I got 284. I get 300 to 1,500 followers a day. Months and months and months and months on end. And now they just have me on something where I'm like
Shadowban or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but it's not like I know when I'm Shadowban because I don't follow myself. So you type in my name. If I type in BEA or BEAN and Beanshooter 69 don't come up, it's like I'm Shadowban. So I'm technically not, but I'm on some type of.
So they're probably, because you have this base of a lot of followers, they're probably pumping your videos out to your base and not really the general public too much is what's happening.
Yeah, it's not hitting the explore page.
Does it stress you out?
Yeah. At first it did.
You don't want to admit it, but it does.
I started another page and, I got up to like 50,000. I just started 2 months ago. I started right around then, January, February, and it's up to, just about 50,000 now. But it's still, I've had that other one for so long, it sucks.
Right. Oh, trust me. I had my TikTok. I was in Ohio. I was in fucking Columbus, Ohio at a hotel. And before I go to bed, I plug my phone in. I'm scrolling around. I go on my TikTok. And this is before I really jumped off on Instagram. And it was like, your account has been banned. I had a fucking heart attack, dude.
It sucks.
And I appealed it and it came back in 3 days. But now I'm walking on eggshells about what I post.
It ruins it for me because all the stuff I do, right?
Yes.
I've been known to push the envelope a little, but it's like, let's say you're a stand-up comedian and like, you didn't really have to deal with this because you came a little after. But when you think about comedians before you, and then this woke generation hit, it ruined their whole thing because they're like, oh shit, am I going to say this? Or, am I going to say, I assume it ruined, a lot of their stuff. Right? It takes, the spontaneity out of it and the fun out of it when you're like, oh fuck, I want to tell this joke. Oh shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Are they going to say this? They're going to say that. So it's like that a lot with my Instagram. I'm like, oh, and especially since I lost the page. My other page, they totally wiped out. Then I started this one. And then they told me it's basically, I got 1 foot in the grave on that. Then they shut me out of it for 2 months. So now it's like, fuck. Anything that's even borderline, I'm like, I can't.
Right.
I can't put it
on.
on.
With the fingers. Remember your man told you.
Pigeon. Listen, Pigeon Vision?
Pigeon Vision. Yeah, he's the one that sent me your merch way back.
Really?
Yeah.
So Pigeon Vision.
That was a sick reel, too.
I posted something the other day. This kid got his finger blown off, and I was with him, right? Pigeon Vision called me right up.
Tell him what you said, though, to the kid. He gets his fingers blown off. He goes, you're going to go to the hospital for that? He's missing his whole finger.
Yeah, gone. It's all top of it. So Pigeon Vision called me up. He goes, take that down immediately. That's an easy one. He goes, that's getting taken down. I'm like, good on there.
Blood.
And if it would have been a page,
remember Snapchat? Tell him what happened to Snapchat.
And I kept it up
20
on
minutes
Snapchat.
later.
20 minutes later.
Yeah.
They
don't play around. I can't even put on TikTok. I do this like reoccurring video about this giant turd a nurse is carrying down the hallway.
I've seen that. Yeah,
I can't even put a turd on TikTok.
Really?
Get out of here.
They don't even want to see poop,
Johnny.
But what's fucked up is I can see the outer edge of a girl's asshole in a G-string.
It's the size of that helmet, pretty much, maybe a little flatter, but she's walking out with it.
It's a turd that's probably like this big, like this thick.
Yeah.
And so the first time it's just a still picture. And I did a green screen video talking about it. And one lady commented like, this isn't your normal type of content. Don't ever do a video like this again.
Yeah.
So I've turned it into a series where every couple of months I bring it back.
Yeah.
And I've probably done like maybe a dozen of the same video. I'm just riffing on this giant turd.
And every time it gets millions.
Millions and millions, like 9 million, 6 million.
I love it.
Because that one lady.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're so sensitive about it. And then you'll see you'll see. Have you ever seen like girls will use because they allow breastfeeding? You ever seen this? They allow breastfeeding.
I know.
Girls will use dolls, not real babies. They'll use dolls so they can show their titty.
Yeah.
And then you might see like a girl's like outer rim of her asshole,
And they ban it.
or a politician in Colombia getting his head blown off, or someone getting hit by a car. That's fine.
Yeah.
But Beanshooter wants to get a little crazy in Colombia. All of a sudden, we're fucking.
Did you see what happened in Colombia the other day? The presidential hopeful?
Yeah.
Shot in the head at the park.
That's what I'm talking about. I saw that on Instagram.
In Bogota. I know the neighborhood. Know where it was. 15-year-old hitman.
Crazy.
15-year-old Sicario on a fucking dirt bike.
Right in the back of his head.
And we're hanging out in Rebolo in Barranquilla. We gotta have our head examined.
And you want to show like a midget working girl in Colombia, and you can't even get her running down the hallway. It's great. It's unbelievable.
I know. I can't even show her on the balcony while I was smoking a cigar.
We don't see eye to eye.
We don't see eye. So when I bumped into Anthony in Medellin, Colombia.
Yes. Yeah. I was on a bachelor party, and our mutual friend, Mr. Justin Halloran.
Yes.
Great guy. I love Justin for so many reasons. Such a fucking great guy. Him and I have like we'll kind of shit on each other back and forth type of relationship, like big time. And then, and I always tell, like, he'll come up to me in the beginning of the night and I'll always be like, are we going to have a fucking problem tonight? Are we going to But he was on the bachelor party with me. You were out there, and we're at some fucking mansion and behind a gate with armed security, and then you pop up out of nowhere in your fucking bathing suit barefoot. And the funniest part about the whole thing, and we talked about this in the parking lot, but I want the listeners to hear this, is so I've been to dangerous countries. Colombia's like, it's like orange when you look at it. It's like, be careful when you go there, especially where we were. Like this, we had like some G.I. Joe motherfuckers with machine guns, like 4 of them doing shifts overnight. And Beanshooter walks in, just kind of like, he's in the back bay or something. And the guy that was hosting the bachelor party doesn't know him and was kind of like, all right, we don't want, too many people around that we don't know here. He was getting kind of skeeved out by it. And so, he was like, all right, no problem. I'll take off. Good to see you guys. And he just starts walking down the street. No taxi or Uber waiting for him. He's just in his, floral bathing suit with no shoes on in the middle. And he's not even walking on the sidewalk. He's walking down the middle of the street like it's the credits to the end of the movie.
This is my tour guide. This is my tour guide.
Unbelievable.
This is the guy that brought me to Colombia.
And I was like, I always used to say like, oh, I'd love to go to Colombia with Beanshooter. Then I saw that and I was like, I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know if I can handle it, dude. Yeah, that was wild. Awesome. A lot of respect for that, because I've been to some sketchy areas in the world, and it was like he just was off on his own. Justin, did you see that? It's wild.
Are you still friendly with all those guys you're with, or is...
more so just Justin. A couple of the guys, I had a falling out with one of them. It's to be a man and say you had a falling out with another man is like very gay. So, but like, whole long story. Essentially, he got caught cheating on his wife, and I took the brunt of the blame
because of that trip.
Because of all the trips, and I was the only, I was the bad guy, and so I got sort of ousted.
I've seen that movie.
Yeah,
you started it. What are you talking about?
I got ousted from the friend group, and Justin and one of the other kids were the only ones to kind of stay loyal and be like, hey, I'm still gonna invite you out. I'm still gonna call you. You're still my friend. I don't care what happens between you and so and so.
Bullshit.
So
own it yourself, and they're worried about me showing up, right? And the guy ends up tripping himself up.
Imagine.
People get people telling themselves all the time. Yeah. But hey, shit happens. You know what I mean? You find out who's who, and I mean, look at how good you're doing. Yeah, they might be doing great. They own rehabs and everything. Obviously, they fucking crush it, right? But
murder it.
Yeah, I know.
God, the money in that. I went on a whole rant on my Facebook one day, my personal Facebook, about like because there's good people in it. Don't get me wrong. It's not across the board. Everyone's corrupt, but working in it and seeing other sides of things, there's a lot of stuff that happens that I don't agree with. Yeah. And I went on a rant on my personal Facebook about it, because I made one Facebook status where I took a jab at the BD reps, Where it's like, I'm fucking sick of you guys.
Who's that? No, BD. What's that?
The business development guys,
All right.
the guys that fill the facilities, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
I was joking around. I was a BD rep. I get it. I was joking around. I was like, I'm fucking sick of seeing you guys at all your lunches and your dinners, taking pictures with each other. It's fucking exhausting. And I was just joking.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul. But then some people didn't take it as a joke.
Good.
And somebody was like defending one of the treatment centers that I worked at as if they're God's gift to earth, as if they're the only treatment center that doesn't operate in the gray.
Yeah.
And I took that and I started, you know, kind of going back and forth with the kid in the comment. And then I had a little bit too much to drink on Christmas. And I said, you know what? The comment section, everyone's moved on. I think I need to make this an actual post, and just went on a tirade about like, you know, the private insurance treatment centers operating.
Yeah, they don't have to help people. They'll just crack you over the fucking head. If you don't get insurance, see you later. Fucking.
And I was very detailed in my tirade.
So you know the inner workings.
150 comments, not one person coming that works in the field trying to come to the defense of it.
Because they got nothing. They don't like to stand up.
I was like, if you're a BD rep and you've ever sent a dick pic to a female patient, don't comment. You know what I mean? I was saying shit like that. Yeah. And no one said anything. And I was in the comments posting like pictures of crickets and shit. I just went off. And then I ended it with like, you guys are lucky that I'm going on this rant on my personal Facebook page and not on platforms where I have hundreds of thousands of followers. Yeah. And I kind of just wanted to shake the tree a little bit. And I actually had a private investigator reach out to me. Like it goes after like the insurance fraud and stuff like that and shit. And she was like, I'd love to like pick your brain. And I was like, listen, I wanted to shake the tree, not cut it down. I'm not fucking getting involved in any of that type of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it just rubbed me the wrong way. Just the way that it was personal, because I got, you know, kind of kicked to the side, and then I started really struggling mentally. Yeah. And none of my friends were there for me, and it kind of made me really butthurt. So I went on a whole fucking tirade about it.
I think everyone, you know, goes through that. You know, anyone that goes through any type of shit, and you see when the chips are down, you know, who's there.
Right.
You know, we've all, I can speak for myself, I can speak for John, and now that you said that, I can speak for you, right? There comes a time in life, sooner or later, usually. I mean, maybe some people never, you know, don't have many hardships when stuff happens and you're sitting there, right? And you're going through it, and you know what I mean? The ones that reach out to you and say, hey, what's up, man? You all right? I'm going to come by. And you never forget those people, right? And they're few and far between. But I think everyone needs that every once in a while in life. Figure out who's who, because you think you got a million friends, right? Until something happens.
Yeah, and then you in my experience, I can only speak for myself. I've already experienced that type of shit in my life, and so I thought like I got better at choosing who's going to be in my circle. Yeah. And one thing I learned is like, don't ever be surprised. Yeah, don't ever be surprised. No. You know, and so Halloran was one of those kids where it was like I knew. So me and Halloran became friends because of mutual friend Danny McGinnis, who passed away.
Oh, yeah,
Danny
Mac. Yeah.
You know, once he passed, me and Justin became close, and it was cool to see that he wasn't, you know, and he works for the fucking guy.
So he's in a bad spot.
He's in a bad spot, and he still was neutral and was like, listen, I'm not married. My wife's not telling me I can't hang out with you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if you need me, I'm one phone call away. Da, 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 da. So he was really cool about that. So I appreciate it. So my thing is like, you know, maybe I need to surround myself more with people that, you know, reformed ex-cons, because you guys know how to be solid. You know what I mean? Like you guys live by a certain code. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, out of everything, I mean, that's a wise choice, my friend. But out of everything, could you imagine having a wife? Oh, you were at a bachelor party? There were naked girls cannonballing in the pool
in the wife's
with Beanshooter?
In the wife's defense, if you're going to plan a bachelor party, don't make it in Columbia.
No.
You're asking for it. You're asking for it. What are you guys doing out there? You know, there's no theme parks. Like, what's going on?
Listen, Medellin is the only vacation spot on the whole planet that don't have a beach.
Right. Yeah, there's
Fucking
no
beach.
water.
Everybody goes for a beach, right? So I'm in Medellin with Mike, and I'm like, I want to take my shirt off. It's like the pool, the beach. You go, there's none of that stuff there. You gotta go to Cartagena for that. I'm like, oh, okay.
When I went in this party, when I went in, the gates open, armed security. I come walking in, it was like a Molotov cocktail got lobbed through the window.
I know.
So they're
Can't
like,
imagine.
I get the phone in my hand, and they're all like, you know, like you
Whoa.
said, your boy who used to
Whoa.
fucking film you, you know, they were shook.
Oh, yeah.
Justin come right over to me. I know you. I think you come over.
Yeah, I
like,
got
hey.
right out of the pool.
Yeah.
I was all excited. Well, because they all loved you. All the guys, you know, they kind of respecting the guy who was hosting the trip, but like all those guys that were there, you know, knew who you were and love your content and stuff like that. They just kind of wanted to
taking
respect
pictures
the
of
host.
them at that very precise
Yeah.
moment.
And I get it. Oh, there's the stuff that I've seen that I wasn't allowed to record. Well, I have videos on my phone. I'll just never post them. But
Yeah.
God, especially doing what I do online. I'm on a fucking yacht in Miami and I can't take a video. Like,
Yeah.
come on, dude.
It's
It
tough.
was so hard.
Oh, I have this video. Let me show it to you now. We gotta find this.
That was
Did you see Stefan Diggs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
With
that
the
was
2C on the
amazing.
yacht with
Yeah. So
what do they say? No Tusi, no.
the pussy.
No Tusi, no pussy.
no pussy.
I wanted to post this video after the Stefan Diggs, and then I had my guy
I know.
Pigeon blur it
I know.
out a little.
That's a great
But-
video too. You see this video? That's really a cool one.
No Tusi,
No pussy.
pussy, as they say.
Oh, that voice. Hey, the voice goes right through me. I don't care how
Listen.
hot they are. The voice goes
Listen,
right through me every time.
I got a video right where we're in the throes of everything, right? And she says, "Papacito," and I'm like, "Oh, that's a video right there,
Yeah.
but I can't post it."
But yeah,
'Cause it's got a little bit of
the boat with they always got that Tusi. They love that.
I
shit.
tried it.
If I
I tried it when I was out there.
if-
Not a fan.
really
Not a
I was
fan.
gonna say
of
if
it.
I
See,
relapse,
Mike, Mike's got a plan. If he relapses, that's the first shit
Yeah.
he's doing.
I'm telling it's. I didn't like it.
really.
Yeah,
How did it make you feel?
I didn't. It was kind of like a.
It's not racy, right?
When in Rome type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't go like balls to the wall, but
Right.
if I'm gonna try it, I want to try enough where I can feel some sort of effect.
Yeah.
It's like an Adderall, Molly mix.
Last
No,
minute Adderall
not
got
a
me
fan.
back at Molly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a fan. I just didn't like. I'd rather just do cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They love it though.
Yeah.
They
love
love
it's
it.
probably
out
dirt
there.
cheap. That's why.
Yeah. Coke's like $5, $6 a grand.
Yeah, it's everything
down
is
there.
kind of dirt cheap out there.
Yeah,
Imagine going on a run down there.
No.
I would never come home.
You see those people sleeping in the streets,
No, you
Mike? That's what
you get arrested. Something would happen. I mean,
That's what fucks me up out there. You see like kids sleeping in the
I know.
street out there.
Yeah.
It's a poor area, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But it's beautiful.
No, we
And
got
what's he out there just giving kids candy and
I
handing
mean,
money
he's
out?
got a few families. I mean,
Yeah.
we've been out there,
TVs,
but we've been out
taking
there a
food
few
shopping.
times, and they're like, yeah, he's got 3 families, and like they'll see something on the stories, maybe somebody will. And then he goes, they're all coming at once. Like I got to take them all grocery shopping at once, and he does. He takes them grocery shopping, buys the kids shoes. The,
school,
the kids
yeah,
are so
backpacks.
poor, right out there. There was one kid he wanted to buy shoes for the family, right? They had to put plastic bags on his feet.
His feet were so dirty.
Yeah.
Nasty.
That's
to
tough.
try the
Yeah,
shoes
see,
on.
I started a charity for people like that in Cape Verde. I think I raised like $150,000 the last
awesome.
year and a
Yeah.
half.
It's great.
Because you could build a house out there for $7,000.
Yeah.
So it started because my father's a softie. And
Yeah.
he goes out there at least once a year. And he'll just be walking and there'll be some old lady sitting on a porch, no roof.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have all this money. I own
I
a
gotta
jewelry
give her-
store.
yeah.
I'm a
That's
successful
awesome.
guy.
That's
I'm giving
nice.
this
That's
lady
what
a
you're
fucking
supposed to
roof.
do.
That's what you're
Yeah.
supposed
You got
to
these
do.
athletes that all that money.
Yeah.
They don't fucking do shit for people.
And they what I think the most mind blowing thing to me was because you know how it is. If we went to Colombia right now and we went to a really nice restaurant and we just ordered everything on the menu, like $40.
Yeah.
No, it's
It's
about so 4
No,
of
but
us.
yeah, I
I
know
took
what you
4
mean.
of us out. I paid one night. I did pay one.
$80, $100.
No, it's $100.
Yeah, $100.
$25 a person
Right.
with drinks and everything.
But still,
Yeah,
cheap,
yeah.
cheap.
cheap.
And
Cheap.
so like to build something out there, if I wanted to build somebody a house down the street in Braintree, I'd need like
forget it.
$800,000.
$1 million. $1 million.
I could build 500 houses for that money in Cape Verde.
Yeah.
So the money goes a long way. And
you're like a fucking god there, for Christ's
And
sake.
they need it.
They're
and
going to
it's
have a
your native
statue of
country.
you there or something.
Why not?
They're going to have a big portrait or a statue of you or something.
my father probably. Yeah. And my
your
father's been doing this silently long before I ever thought about doing it. I just kind of piggybacked off the fact that he's always done it silently. And so it was just like a numbers thing where it's like, okay, yeah, I know it's a good thing that I'm doing. I do feel good about it, but I just kind of did the math in my head where it's like, this is something my dad's passionate about. I have X amount of followers. If I make a video, I could probably raise some money, and it's not going to break my back doing it. So why wouldn't I try it? You know?
Awesome.
And it's been unbelievable. And it
I
made
thought
me
of
and my
doing that
dad a
same
lot
thing.
closer.
How do you regulate it? Like, I wouldn't want to put it in, one person's name down there and then they just take all the dough. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
how do you?
My father was born there. So he moved to the US when he was 15. And then when he was in his early 20s, he'd go back there regularly. And now he's 65. So he's been going, knows everybody there.
Yeah.
And it's like Hawaii. It's a bunch of volcano islands.
All right.
And so he has all the contacts out there, and he's always like giving back. And like he's also helps a lot of people that come to the US that need jobs. He'll help them start a little landscape business. He'll help them talk to this person if you want to get a green card type of thing.
Yeah.
Always been doing that. And, I'm related to like nuns and shit. My dad's side of the family is very religious. They've always given back. And so, we started on GoFundMe, and then he legitimized it, got all the paperwork. So it's like a legal charity. I don't know, 1050C, whatever the fucking things are and all that stuff. And then he sort of just takes on little projects. And what he's been doing now is he takes on so many projects and then funds them himself. And then he'll be like, all right, I'm like fucking $9,000 in the hole because this girl needed eye surgery. This kid needed a bathroom in his house. Da, da, da. Can you please make another video for me? Yeah. I'll make another video. But he gets the story and it goes right to that person where he's calling. If it's a house, he's calling the guys, the contractors.
So what does a house cost to build there?
$7,000.
I was going to say 10 grand. Something like that.
Yeah. And I mean, what's a nice house to them out here, you'd be horrified to live.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but it's $7,000-8,000. And what he's doing is, so the house that he grew up in, my father's got 8 brothers and sisters. He grew up on the smallest island in Cape Verde. It's called Brava, where it's so small you can't even access it by a plane. You need to take a boat.
Wow.
And it's just a mountain sticking out of the ocean.
Wow.
And he lived like in the middle of the mountain, almost at the top of it. And when you own land there, that land just stays in your family for generations. And if you don't do anything with it, it just disintegrates and it'll be there till the end of time.
Yeah.
It doesn't eventually get passed on to the government if no one claims it or keeps the property up or anything like that. So my father's house that he grew up in with his 8 brothers and sisters has been there since the 70s. And then he, when the parents die, it gets passed down to siblings and 47 different cousins. So he needs to go through, all right, who has ties to this house and kind of get all the contracts signed. And then finally he owned it outright, and then he fixed it all up and he tried to make it look as close to how it looked back in the day. And so now when he builds a house in Cape Verde, he makes them all look the same.
Oh, really?
So when you go and you see that house, that style, you know my dad built that house.
That's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
It's
Signature.
cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. Speaking of that, I was just down in Tulsa, Oklahoma with a friend of mine, guy from House of Pain, Danny Boy O'Connor.
Okay.
Jump around.
Yeah.
Jump around.
Jump
So
around.
what made me think of that, Slane was down there with me. The National Golden Gloves were there. And Danny invited me down there a while ago. He was a big fan of the movie The Outsiders. You ever see it?
Yep.
So he goes down to Tulsa and he's doing a show down there, and he goes to the house where they filmed the movie. He knocks on the door. So he's talking to people who live there. They're like 8 months behind on their rent, on their mortgage. They're upside down. So he's like, I'm talking to him like I want to buy the house. I'm ready to offer him like 40 or 50 grand. He's like, I don't even got it, but I got people that do. You know what I mean? That'll help me out. And this and that. So he's talking to him, and they're like, we won't take less than 20.
Oh God.
So he's like, I offer him 15. I ended up buying the house for 15,000. So now he makes it like it was in the movie.
Right.
Like he was like your father's house. How it was when he was little, right?
Yeah.
You're like Pony Boy's bedroom and this and that.
Yeah.
And he actually makes it a museum. The outside is a
cool.
museum. And he sells a ton of merch there. And like 400 people minimum go through a week. They pay $10 a piece to take the tour. But he crushes it on the merch.
Right.
So probably making 6, 7, 8 grand a fucking week.
Yeah.
Imagine he bought
That's
the
unbelievable.
house for $15,000.
Yeah. Wow.
He lives on the top floor of the Mayo Hotel
That's
in the
unbelievable.
penthouse. And when I was up in the Mayo, he's up in the penthouse. People were like, that's where Sylvester Stallone lives in the Tulsa
King of Tulsa.
Yeah,
It's a
Tulsa
good show.
King.
I like it.
I never
I've
saw
seen it. The first season was actually really good.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's where he lives, in the penthouse in the Mayo Hotel, and that's where Danny lives.
Yeah.
Up on there. It was a cool little town down there, and I went down there, and the National Golden Gloves were there, so I knew some people fighting, from around Boston, and Joe Ricciardi was down there, who Broadway boxing in Somerville, had a couple of fighters, and then I'm sitting there with Danny, and Mickey Ward calls me, and he's like, Sean O'Brien's there. Do you know Sean O'Brien?
Name rings a bell.
He's the president
of the team.
He's the president of the Teamsters
okay.
of the whole nation.
Yeah.
And he comes over, and he was with that senator from Oklahoma, Mark Wayne Mullins. And
they were beefing before. That was the thing between them.
They had a big fight
they were almost getting into a fist fight on the Senate floor.
Yeah.
Sean O'Brien and the senator,
Bernie
they were
Sanders,
calling
like,
each other out. You know what I'm saying? But
it was
they
all over
became
the
friends.
internet.
And that's how Mike
and he
ended
was
up
there with
meeting that
him.
guy.
It was a good time, but that whole Outsiders thing, it was fucking. It was really
dope.
cool. And meeting Danny, who and Slane's like, Slane?
Oh, I love George.
Okay,
Great guy. Yeah.
So
we had him on.
He's like, Shooter, that's how I started following you, from Danny. And I listened to House of Pain on a fucking loop.
Right.
1990 to 92.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like Cypress Hill. That was my, I'm 20
Glory
years old.
days.
Glory days.
Yeah.
So 100%. It was really cool.
Oh, that's dope.
Some of the people you get to meet, right? I'm sure you're the same way, Like Sydney Sweeney's a big fan of mine. I know you. I know you.
I'm going to place an order on that backwater soap as soon as I get in the car.
We're not, Mike. Listen,
She's unbelievable.
I know
we're
you're
not worthy.
She's
I
unbelievable.
jealous. I can give her a call if you want.
We'll FaceTime. Are you ready to go?
I would love that. I would love that so much. That's my dream, is to end up with like a hot, famous supermodel, but we'll see. It's probably going to end up being some chick from New Bedford.
Fall River.
Yeah.
That's okay. Got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere.
I went out with a Cape Verdean girl from New Bedford. She was the fucking best. Reza. Beautiful, beautiful girl. I haven't seen her in a while, but
Andrade?
Reza Andrade, yes.
I think you said the name before. He's got a good memory. This kid.
Yeah, you ruined it for him. He'll never forget those Cape Verdean
the whole
names.
time. The whole time, I'm like, I don't know, terrible with names.
Yeah,
Good one.
A name like that, Reza, right? You're not going to forget that.
Cape Verdean and Hawaiian. A girl name was Maria. I was 25 years old.
Andrade?
Not her. Maybe you're sick. But look, one of the prettiest girls I was ever with in my whole life. Like, unbelievable. That.
You'll go out there and you'll see a girl
So
with like a
pretty.
caramel complexion and like green eyes.
Yeah.
They're unbelievable.
I know.
Yeah. It's fucking unreal.
But I would never marry one.
They're crazy, right?
No. I would never marry
I
one.
think they're all crazy, though. I think.
All
Why
women
not?
in general?
Why? Why the Cape Verdeans?
I don't know. I don't know if I could handle it. You know what I mean? My father always told me you need to marry like a nice Portuguese woman. They're a little bit more calm.
Dad seems to know what he's talking about.
Yeah, Dad knows what he's talking about. Well, Dad.
So we have a few parallels, right? We like to help people.
Yeah.
Both funny.
Yeah.
Both here.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah, no,
He's a funny. Go ahead.
Yeah. He's handsome. I'm still working on it.
That ship sailed, Mike. It's over. Listen, 400 mil. Go ahead.
Neither one of us like to work, but I think the biggest thing, right? Both single, right?
Yeah. I've been single for 7 years.
It's isn't it great?
My
girl just broke up with me, but
how long ago?
month ago when I got back from Colombia.
You doing all right?
Yeah, well, she's married. So.
Okay, so then
Yeah,
this fucking guy's unbelievable. She's
fine.
You only get him for like 2 hours. I get him all the time.
I don't know how you do it. That's unreal.
But yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like we lived together or anything. She lives with her husband and everything. But yeah, I mean, I talked to Johnny about it coming back here, and sometimes people, say shit. Oh, you're in Columbia, you're doing this, that. Like, you know what? I just turned 56. I mean, someone's trying to like set me up with their grandmother or something, right? Or,
Right.
Or, some bro's 50, 45. Yeah. Like, like Shaq just did it the best, right? When he was playing for the Lakers, he called out Jerry Buss, the owner who was going out with like a 23-year-old girl. He's like, date someone your own age. Now they're showing Shaq with some 21-year-old girl.
Now we know.
Like on the beach, now you know, right? Now
it's always the younger guys that'll make a comment like that. Look at Belichick.
Yeah.
He's getting all this flack, right?
Yeah.
You're talking just the most respected coach in the game, legendary, arguably one of the best coaches of all time. Now he's dating a former call girl, and he doesn't give a fuck. He's getting all this flack at North Carolina. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give
Listen, that's what we're thinking. I heard that.
Kraft's call girl, he stole it from her.
Yeah, I heard she met him on FinDom. You know what FinDom is? That's that financial domination.
Yes.
That's what mistresses that fucking, all that. I mean, I don't know how true it is, but
she's also 2 years younger than they're saying on the media. I know people that know her from the Cape. Yeah,
so she's 24,
Breaking
so
news.
she's 22. And they're saying he was fucking around with her way back when she was still, like a freshman cheerleader. Like she was around when he was still with the Patriots or something. So they're saying she was 18 or 19. It's bananas.
Yeah, I mean, I like the age gap thing. For me, 18, 50? 19, that's a little, but once they're, 21, 22, the difference between a 21-year-old woman and a 25-year-old woman is not.
Yeah, but Mike goes to Columbia, right? And Mike don't speak Spanish. They got nothing in common. I'm saying you don't need anything in common.
Right.
I'm saying they're saying, what do you do with a 20-year-old girl? What do you do with a 19-year-old girl?
Wouldn't you want at least one that's kind of always around that you can build something with?
Yeah, I got this girl down. She's just turned 28. She works in a hotel.
Yeah,
I go to. Talk to her today.
Brenda, you talked to her?
Yeah. I talked
to her.
Cool.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And she's the best. She's not some fucking who she works in the hotel. She's got 2 kids. And I'm just
nice. She's a sweetheart too.
Yeah, she's a good kid. But I know Belichick. Getting back to Belichick, what do you think?
I love Belichick.
I mean, I you can't knock him, dude. I mean, the guy. I guess you could make an argument that like it's one thing to like hook up with a stripper that's that age, but to like
to wife it up.
To each their own.
Yeah.
She's a grown woman. If that's a decision she wants to make, who are we to judge it? I say go for it, Bill.
My thing is this. My hat's off to her because she's, got all this real estate empire now and everything else, right?
Yeah, she's
and like you said with him,
genius.
if you're just smashing, what the fuck, you own, whatever, right? But to wife her up, and for a guy who preached that whole time to not have any outside distractions, like ran that Patriots team with an iron fist. Like, if somebody was, saying something, I remember one time Wes Welker said something about Rex Ryan's foot fetish, and he benched him for that playoff game against the Jets, right?
Yeah.
Like any type of little outside distraction, and now it's a fucking circus,
he is
right?
the distraction.
Well, you know why Malcolm Butler got benched?
No, I still don't know. I don't know.
Well, because one of I don't know if it was
Belichick's
Steve
kid.
Belichick's
Steve
kid
Belichick.
is a cuck.
I heard it was something with Steve Belichick's kid.
Is a cuck. So he likes to watch his wife get fucked.
Nice. Hold on, wait a minute.
Malcolm Butler was supposed to be in that situation.
Really?
And things got hairy for whatever reason. And
Get
that's
out
why
of here. A lot of these. Don't miss this episode.
We're starting
Do
to show
not
the
miss this
inside
episode.
scoop of the interview.
I'm not going to reveal my sources, but just know that if
very
TMZ,
reliable.
a very reliable source, close to the organization.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Malcolm
That is awesome.
Pounded out Steve's
That's
wife
awesome.
while he's in the corner with his slippers on.
Nice.
The smoking jacket.
I
With the red ball in his mouth and shit.
Wow.
Just flicking his balls or whatever.
Nice.
So, but why do you bench him over that? Because he pounded out your fucking son's wife?
Got dicey.
Yeah.
Got dicey in the trenches, kid.
I think what one thing that this whole Belichick situation has done is it's humanized him. Where we've seen Belichick for 20 years, he's a god.
Right, exactly.
He's not a real person. He's the coach that's winning us all these Super Bowls and breaking all these records, brought in the best quarterback of all time that's like a father to me. And And so he's on this pedestal. He's not even a human being.
Right.
So when he does something like this, it humanizes him. So now that you see him in this light, where he's fucking off in North Carolina, he's pissing everybody off. He doesn't give a shit.
No,
he's doing interviews.
You gotta love that.
And she's in the corner dictating
Tell
what
him,
he
don't
talks
do this,
about.
don't do that.
What would you ever think Bill would do that?
No.
So now that I see him in this light, I wouldn't put it past him.
Like half these other
benching
assholes.
Malcolm Butler for getting weird with his son's wife.
And listen, the only thing is the relationships are this. Here's the way I say them. Relationships are this. The only two people that got to understand them are the people that are in them.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't care what type of the relationship is. I don't care what the dynamic is. If the two people in them understand it, who cares? It's
And
just
it's a
outside
mutual
interference.
It's a mutual ripoff, essentially, where
always.
she's getting what she
And
wants
he's
out of
getting
him.
what he
She's
wants.
happy to give it because he can't die with it all anyways. And he's getting what he wants.
Yeah.
And so you want properties in your name? You want to be set up because I only have 15 years to live? We'll set you up.
God bless you.
I want to sleep with you and I'm way out and you're way out of my league. So you're
God
going to give me
bless
that.
you.
Take it.
You know what I need is a Malcolm Butler jersey.
Now I need one.
So
Hold on, Mike.
yeah, I know.
I mean, I'll say
We'll talk
this.
about it off camera.
I'll
Mike.
say this. I was not in the room with them, so I wasn't
I'm
letting him
satisfied.
cuck his
I'm
wife.
satisfied.
So I didn't set my eyes on it.
That makes sense.
But the source that I got, that's the story I was told.
No, well,
and
we're
it's a
going to
trusted
delve
source.
into that further. Get Wiggy on the
Yeah,
phone.
get
ASAP.
Wiggy
We
on the
gotta know what's
phone.
going on. But Malcolm Butler plays a big part of my story.
Really?
Big part of my story. I first got sober. I was in Mickey took me down to Florida. I'm down in Florida like a year. My daughter's 4 or 5. She doesn't know who I am. I'm starting to file motions, try to get custody of her. Grandparents got her on her mother's side. They hate me. And I'm coming back from Florida. I'm down there like 15 months. So I come back, and it was right before we got all that snow in 2015. And I'm with my friend who just passed, Joe Fanchulo, Frenchie. And he gets season tickets to the Pats. I said, let's go down to the Super Bowl. It was in Arizona.
Yeah.
So at the time, I got like $2,000 to my name, $2,500 to my name. I get maybe a little more, like $3,000. We get tickets. I forget what I paid, $1,500 or something. So it ended up being a thing. I almost couldn't get the tickets. I got in a fight with a guy over them, and we fly down to Arizona. And back then, StubHub had a thing like you buy your tickets online, you fly down there, you get them and go to the game.
Right.
So StubHub had a shortage; they didn't get the tickets. So it was all over the news. The cheapest ticket was going for $9,000. Now the guy I gave the $1,500 for was trying to give it back to me. Oh, I can't get them. So I'm like, "Fuck you, motherfucker!" So I'm like screaming, and I end up getting them. And the day of the game, the cheapest ticket was going for $9,000. I had $1,500 to my name, and it was in my pocket. And I'm with my friend who had money. And I'm like, I'm selling my ticket, dude. I'm selling it for $9,000.
Right. Yeah.
This is a total business decision for me right now.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's my birthday. I went to a Patriots Super Bowl on my birthday before. I go, see, you've already seen them one. So, you know what I mean?
What are we talking about?
What are you thinking, right?
Yeah.
So I see this guy, and he's on the corner, and like I've told a million people before, you're not stealing anything there. You're outside the stadium. You're not getting in a car. You're not running. There's crowds of people. There's cops everywhere. This guy's got like a Louis bag with bricks, $100 bills, all in it filled up. Got to be at least 200,000, 250,000. He looks at some other guy's tickets. He's like, I'll give you 30,000 a piece. They were like good seats, and we were nosebleeds. And he looked at mine. There was section 420, and he goes, I'll give you 17,000 for the pair, 8,500 a piece. So I was like, yeah, here you go. So we counted out the money, and me and my friend went to this bar, and he's drinking, and there's this Mexican mariachi band in there, and I got them all laughing, and they're playing music, and there's hardly anyone in there. And then it's first and goal on the one, and I left. I went outside. I got in the rent-a-car, and I'm waiting for him. Like, where the fuck is he? It's like 2-3 minutes. And I look over, and there's a big picture window, and I see Russell Wilson walking off the field with his head in his hands. And I immediately
There's
thought,
no way it could happen.
I immediately thought they went for a 2-point conversion and didn't get it.
Yeah.
Because come on.
There's no way it could
happen. Handing the ball to Marshawn Lynch.
100%.
And he's running through the line, and it's fucking game over. And I'm like, So I walk in, and my friend is up on a table, and he's fucking dancing.
That's
he's
awesome.
kicking over beers, and the mariachi band's dying laughing. They start playing, and they look at me, and they all start laughing. And I'm just like, and I see Brady jumping up and down. And I'm
like,
just
there's no way this could happen.
I'll never fucking forget
100%.
that fucking moment.
100%.
You know what I
Me
mean?
neither.
And it was fucking unbelievable.
Yeah,
man.
listen,
Yeah.
In jail, they had the TV delayed. I was in Devon's. I'm getting ready to peg my Walkman right at the pole. I'm going to smash it in a million pieces. I'm so disgusted. And I hear, yeah! And I turn around and I think they scored. And I'm like, who the fuck is cheering for the fucking Seahawks?
Yeah.
And then I turn around and then the delay came on this TV and I'm like,
Yeah.
like, there was no way that could have happened.
Yeah.
It was incomprehensible. That's why you looked. You were like,
Yeah.
the only thing you could interpret was 2-point conversion. Anything negative toward us, amazing, amazing day.
Yeah, I was in rehab, Katamet, in part of Gosnold's branch there. And because of the snowstorm, they had like dish. And the dishes went out.
Oh my God.
And some of us were like, listen,
Yeah,
we care about our sobriety, but if you guys don't fix this, we're gone.
Yeah.
And you know how they are. Like, you got to, they're billing your insurance.
Yeah.
They care if you leave those places.
Yeah.
And someone, an RA ended up streaming it from their like Xfinity account, and we had it on a projector screen.
Even back then,
So I got to watch it.
Streaming. Like, I still don't know how to stream.
Oh yeah, right from their Xfinity app onto the projector screen.
Nice.
Wow.
Electric. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Amazing.
I ended up going to Hollywood and stopped by Freddie Roach's gym. I just saw Freddie with Manny Pacquiao in New York.
Dope.
This weekend I went by. Dickie Eklund's kid works the Wildcard gym. I went by there and I come back to Lowell and I got, $8,000, $9,000 in my fucking pocket, whatever I had, because I had $1,500 on me. And I get back with $8,000. And when I come back from Florida, I was in Florida with this kid, Gary. He goes, kid, that's the way you do it. Gary Boyle. He's no longer with us too. Another friend of mine. They're all, they're all fucking gone. It sucks. And he goes, kid, that's the business you want to start right there. And I look and there's this Mexican power washing around a dumpster behind the restaurant. He's like, kid, all you need is a $150 power washer and a little pump sprayer and a gallon of bleach and a hose. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, that's all you need. There's no overhead, kid. So I started a little power washing business. I had a little Chevy S10 with a ladder. And when I come back from selling my ticket and having all that money, that's when we got hit with that snow. Lowell was the snowiest city in America. It was like Lowell, Worcester, Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
We got like, whatever we got for snow, fucking 80 inches, 90 inches.
Yeah, it was crazy.
4 or 5 days and roofs were collapsing. And the guy says to me, hey, do you shovel roofs? I was at a gas station. I go, yeah. I just got cussed to my daughter. She's like, why'd you say yeah? I said, if anyone ever asks you can do something, you just say yeah.
Right.
She goes, what if they ask you to jump off a bridge?
Right.
I go, whatever. So the guy come out, he goes, how much you shovel that? It was a little house. I go, 600. I grabbed 2 kids. I go, hey, I'll give you 150 each right now. One of them was a roofer.
Right.
Grabbed the ladder, went up there. I'm sitting in my, I remember Snapchatting in my truck, drinking a coffee, like, this is great.
Making
300.
$300.
Making $300.
That's unbelievable. Genius.
Doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm good at that, right? You
Genius.
are too.
Right.
Making money doing nothing.
I
basically.
love it.
So then the neighbor come out, can you do mine? Can you do mine? Can you do mine? And it was just nonstop shoveling roofs. And after a few weeks, I had like 38,000 in my thing. And this kid's working for me and he goes, you know how many people are going to need roofs when this shit thaws out? I goes, what do you mean? He goes, because the ice dams were that thick. People were up there with hammers drilling through the ice dams. He's like, people are shoveling snow going up. The shingles overlap each other.
Right.
They're like
Just
ripping shingles. He's like, when this thaws out, you know how many people are going to have leaks? And I was like, wow, this
We're gonna have a roofing company.
I went and started a roofing company. I bought another truck and I started it out and got, workman's comp and liability. And that was it. Malcolm Butler, baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was your
awesome.
seed money to get everything
And I
going.
remember my father saying, you're spending, $1,500 on a ticket. You don't got no money. You get my father's famous line. You got no business going to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You got no
That's crazy.
business paying $1,500 for a ticket. Watch it on TV. Like, yeah.
That's great. It's how life is, dude. You know what I mean? Sometimes it could be a situation like that where it's like if one small right turn and now look what happened. How amazing. And it can go left just the same way.
Yeah,
one small thing
100%.
and everything's fucking your world's flipped upside down. So
Yeah.
that's a sick story. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, Malcolm Butler. Maybe I'll have him come bang my wife if I ever get married.
Yeah.
No, Mike, I think the roles might be reversed, but I'm just saying.
I might not have.
It's a whole other story off the camera.
That's unreal.
No, it's
Breaking
a joke.
news.
It's a joke. All right. Anything else? What else we got? Anything, Johnny? Anthony? Anything you
this is
want to pump
great.
up? Any comedy shows? Your shit going
so
on?
I'll be posting shows towards the end of the summer, more so when I'm like headlining and stuff, and
gonna
putting
bring me
on
on?
my own shows and stuff. I'll bring you on. Why not?
I should do it. I'm thinking about doing it. Get up and try to tell a couple of jokes.
Yeah, I can help you out with that. Gary can too. Gary's the one who helped me out with it, where I knew he was doing it and simply just knew I could call him and be like, hey, so where do I start? You know what I mean? Yeah. I wasn't asking him for advice on how to be funny. I would never do that. No. But
who would?
I was asking him where to go and stuff like that. But I'm relaunching my podcast, and the first episode comes out June 25th.
I'd like to come on.
And so it's a new and improved. I'd love to have you both on. That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
New and improved podcast, and it's coming June 25th.
And you're out in my boy's hometown. Vinny Paz is from Cranston, Rhode Island. That's where you are, right?
Yeah,
that's where you film?
Right in Cranston, yeah.
Jimmy Birchfield is a big fight promoter. He's got a fight coming up in Lowell, a fight card coming up in Lowell. Not a fight. He's older, but yeah, they're all Rhode Island guys. Good fucking people, man. Real good people. And Vinny Paz, he just got inducted into the
that was awesome. I
seen the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Did they make a movie about him?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, okay. I know exactly who that is.
Vinny
Who played him in the movie?
The Tasmanian Devil.
Tasmanian
Devil.
It wasn't Wahlberg, was it?
No, I don't think so.
Wahlberg played Mickey in the fight.
Let me see.
Who played him? But he's
I'll
from
tell
Cranston.
You right now, 1 second.
What are you doing in Cranston, by the way? How'd you end up
there?
It's
the guy, this guy that's in all the fucking movies. He was in Top Gun, Miles Teller.
Good old Miles Teller.
He's A-list, dude. I remember this movie. It was a great fucking movie on Netflix.
Yeah.
7.0 on IMDb. Great movie.
It's an unbelievable story,
Oh, yeah. You think he'd come on?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he would.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
No, so my manager that I just brought on, she's unbelievable. Her name's Ashley. She's like a hot shit. She's big in the comedy space where she hosts shows. She gets all these comedians and puts on these shows and stuff. So she has all these contacts. But she's managing my podcast, everything really? That I do. She's like,
that's what I need, a manager.
She's lights out, dude. She's lights out. Anthony. So she lives in Pawtucket. She grew up in Westport. And she's got a lot of contacts out there. And because she books a lot of shows in Rhode Island, when she gets a big comic that comes into town, she can say, hey, while you're out here, could you do this podcast in Cranston? So they don't have to go out of their way. If they're doing a show at the Comedy Connection in Providence, they don't have to drive to my neck of the woods, and they don't have to drive to Boston. Nice. They're right there in Cranston. I just had one of my first guests was this comedian, Ian Lara. Wicked funny guy out of Queens, I believe. Wicked funny guy. And so that's why the connection to Cranston. Rent's cheap. She got me a good deal. She does everything. When I start going on the road, she's getting the hotel, the flight. Yeah. She's booking the venue. She's helped me promote, market, sell tickets. She fucking does everything. She's lights out.
How did you find her? I need one of those.
I need one.
Networking at comedy shows. What happened when I started doing comedy, and I'm not talking as if like I've been doing it for 10 years. But I'm also not an idiot. I went to my first open mic and I said, all right, who's the most important person in this room? Let me get them to like me. Yeah. Now that person's going to get me in another comedy room. Who are the most important people to know here? Let's go be friends with them. And then I got to a point where I was in a room. She was in a room. We met, talked, boom. And then all this stuff started happening. Good like shit. That. I'm excited about it. I've been kind of getting like lazy with the online stuff because I'm not really passionate about it. It's there's a lot I could go on for days about it. You know what I mean?
When you meet real people, it's different, huh?
I could get a video. My most viral video I think I ever did was maybe like 35 million views with thousands and thousands of comments. Yeah. It was cool. I could get one right now that gets 30 million views. It will do nothing for me emotionally. But I could do a shitty show where I'm performing in front of 12 people and not even doing that great. And the feeling I get when I get off stage is like, that was sick. That was fun. Now I'm out with the comics. We're hanging out. Where are we going after? Yeah. In the green room before, and you're hanging out with comics. Yeah. You're hanging out with funny people. Yeah. You're roasting each other. You're shitting on each other. And then you can take it anywhere.
One of my best lines is, I'll tell the jokes around here.
That's what he does.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to say that.
I've met some fucking funny people. And
you only been doing it 6 months or something.
No, less than that. Almost like about months. Three months.
A few months. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. I thought you were doing that for a while because when we seen you, you were like the headliner there.
I think I went up.
The Broad was, right?
Yeah. That was like a featured. Show, right.
No, not that.
But I did. That was like, I was probably like a month and a half in at that point.
Wow. That was a good show too.
Yeah, I got some shows
Impressive.
coming up. I got a show this Thursday in Newport, Rhode Island. I can tell you exactly where it is.
When is it? Thursday?
This Thursday in
Yeah.
Newport. Fucking love Newport.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing. We got another guest on.
So I'm in Newport once I meet these broads, right?
It's at the Quencher in Newport this Thursday.
I'm in Newport with these broads in a hotel room, right? So it was this beautiful fucking hotel. And I remember in the morning they were like cleaning the room, and I go out and I roll a big fat one, right? And I'm just sitting there smoking, and these kids come over, right? Like black hair. One of them's got like red hair. They come over and it's fucking like, what's up? And they're standing there. They go, sir, I couldn't help but notice that you reek of cannabis. I go, what? Because I couldn't help but notice that you reek of cannabis. You know, we could buy a bit. I said, where the fuck are you? I go, Ireland, of course,
Yeah,
right?
love
They were
it.
like marching the St. Patty's Day parade in New York City, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I had these kids all around me. I was selling so much weed then, you know?
Right,
I
right.
gave them like an ounce. I said, and they were like afraid to take it. You know, they probably heard about America. Watch
Yeah,
out.
it's a lot
You know, you'll
to
get,
take
you know,
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
you'll get
Sit
killed. I'm
up.
like, here, kid, go get this, you know? And they're fucking sitting there. They'd call it a spliff. They'd mix tobacco
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, right.
And they'd rip
Yeah.
a little piece of the pack of rolling papers off. So it was like almost like a filter on the end of the joint.
Yeah.
And it was the craziest thing. I had them rolling up fatties, and they were like almost scared. They're like trying to give me the back. I'm like, listen, kid.
Take it.
Yeah,
that's all you.
Kid.
Yeah.
So I go back to the room with these girls. I'm trying to put the TV on, and the room was like expensive, right? My friend was with one girl, and I was with the other one, and we're fucking doing whatever, and I'm trying to put the TV on, and I'm calling up the front desk. I'm like, I paid whatever it was back then. It was like fucking 94, right? 300 a night, whatever it was.
Right.
It was, a lot of money then. This fucking TV don't work. I want another room. I want an upgrade. I'm freaking out, right?
Steve Belichick's jerking off in the corner.
Yeah. So the room smells like weed. The girls walking around next to me. The guy comes and knocks on the door. He said, what's the problem? This fucking TV don't work. And the guy looks at me. He looks at the
Got a
TV.
remote control.
He looks at the TV. He bends down. He picks up the plug. Plugs it in the wall. Hey, now the girls are just watching. One of them starts giggling, right? He grabs the remote. He hits the button. He goes, all right. He throws it on the bed. He goes, anything else I can help you with, sir? I reach in my pocket, couple of 20s.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like a
friend.
gem.
So like a gem. Sorry about that. But that night, went to a place that was called like the Parrot or something. And I'm telling you, it's like 93. I don't know when it was. It was a while ago, right?
Glory days.
The
Say-
glory days. I was in prison. I don't know.
So
No,
I'm in-
93. I
Hey,
wasn't.
I'm in the bathroom. This kid's doing a bump, and I go, "What's that?" And he goes, "Yankees Special K, man. You want some?" I'm like, "Yeah." He gives me a little bit. I go, "For more, more." The kid's like, "No, you don't."
You don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah, exactly, sure. More.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah.
He looking at his buddy like laughing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, puts a big thing out.
We got one.
Wham! I do it. I go out in the club. I'm sitting. I'm like stuck. I slide down like off a
Yeah.
chair.
K-hole
Right? And I'm
immediately.
like in a corner like this. And these kids keep walking by.
Yeah, wow.
And
They
they're
want to see the effects.
They're looking down at me. And I am just
Yeah.
paralyzed in
Yeah.
the corner
Yeah.
for hours.
That's unreal.
And I forget what happened. But Newport, I got to head back.
Yeah. No, dude. I was just out there.
It was a good time.
Shout out to Newport.
before I went to Portugal, I was out there for they had a whole comedy festival. It was a blast.
Yeah.
Oh, so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah, got to check it
Yeah.
out. It's fucking beautiful. You ever been there, Johnny?
No.
The big mansions.
Gotta
everywhere.
go.
It's
You've been to
unbelievable.
Colombia, never been to Newport.
I know.
Yeah, I know. Come on.
What's
Yeah, it's
going on?
skewed. I know.
How long have you been out?
A year and a half.
A year and a half. Must feel fucking amazing, no?
I was in jail for 27 years since 1996. Think about where you were in 96.
I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
So I've been out for a year and a half. Blessing. Every single day is a blessing. I'm so blessed. It's like I just think you need to go through some certain things in your life. Maybe not that much, you know what I'm saying? But the way I see it is that I smile. I'm just tremendously blessed. I feel so grateful every single day.
I always say one of the biggest things about him is I would have got out and had a beer or smoked a joint. 27 years. He hasn't done nothing.
You had a lot to think about in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done.
I know I can ruin
I've
my
never
life
done
real quick.
time. I've done 60 days in Plymouth County.
That
The
sucks.
feeling,
Too much.
Yeah, it sucks,
I
that
got
place.
when I got out of there.
26
I
Long
can't
Pond Road.
imagine that many
26
years,
Long
dude.
Pond Road.
That many years getting
Yeah.
out. Oh
Yeah.
my God! Are
Yeah.
you keeping it fresh? Like every day, it's
every day. Every
Yeah.
day is just I I always remember where I was at the certain point in my day. Whenever it was like 2 o'clock, I'll be like, I would just be doing my yoga. I would just be coming in from the yard, hearing the noise. I'd be like, I just know where I am every second of every day. I've never lost focus. I'm just, and I got some of the, listen, if you hang on long enough, your day's going to come. Right. You know what I mean? I'm blessed. I got a place to live. I got a nice car. I got a little bit of money in my pocket. I'm, hanging out with Mike, enjoying myself, having the greatest. I'm here with you tonight. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Come on. This is blessing every single day.
That's amazing.
Every single day is a blessing.
That's unbelievable. And I mean, to be sitting there smiling with a good attitude after something like that, because I don't think, because when I first
fucking break it, right?
went in to just doing like 30-day thing when I was like 20 years old, and I was fucking horrified. Right. I was horrified. I was scared out of my mind. Didn't really show it outwardly. Of
course not. We never do.
I was horrified. And so I've gotten a very, very, very small taste of it. And I think most of the public just gets that information from television and movies. So they don't really know what it's like. I can't imagine doing that much time and coming out and having the type of attitude you have. It's inspirational. It's huge. That's awesome.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And like I sit back here now, sitting back here talking to you, and I think back about 27 straight years. I don't even know how I did it. Right. Like, I think back, like, how did I do that? Like, how did I get through like every single day on and on another day and another day? And like I tell Mike and like I tell people here in this, in this forum a lot is you got 15 years in. You still got 20 more to do. You banged out 20 years. You still got 15 more to do because I got 35 years, right? Right? So you're on 25. Like you banged out 2.5 decades and you still got a dime left.
That's crazy.
So how do you wrap your, I don't know. Like I just
did it.
Just persevered. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Right. I stayed positive. I rose above the situation. I kind of looked at it as a third person and I just kind of did something for my mind and my body every single day. And I, and I just used that as a springboard. And I'm cheap. No. So listen, for the 5 years that I ate good and worked out, I didn't want to lose that. So I can't go back on that. I got to keep that. That's currency. Right. You know what I'm saying? I can't lose that. Right. So I just kept doing it a day at a time, and been through some crazy stuff like coronavirus. Like you couldn't work out in a jail. They wouldn't let you. I stole a jump rope, worked out every day between the 3 o'clock count and the 5 o'clock count in the morning. Still worked out every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just, no matter what, I just did it. And then when it was sucky and it was horrible, I was just like, you got to suffer. That's what you have to do. You got to suffer. Right. That's it. Bottom line is you got to suffer.
It's unbelievable to me because I've met a lot of people that have done time, and you throw out crazy numbers like that.
Yeah.
You really can't, and what your stretch, the longest stretch you've done is like 10, 12.
But he got 20 years in.
No, I got like 13 in.
Altogether.
Altogether.
But I can't wrap my head around 25 straight years. No. Blows my fucking mind. Yeah. And to see somebody with like a nice tan, all dressed nice, excited,
I got Beanshooter clothes on. If it wasn't for Beanshooter, I'd be bollocky right now.
It's fucking bananas, right?
Can't even wrap my head around.
It started as a death penalty case. When the first day they just re-implemented the death penalty. And they said, we're going to Washington for approval to get the death sentence in this case for you.
Wow. I'll tell you what, like someone said to me before, my friend did a Fed bid and we were younger, we got jammed up and he got indicted and went away. And he'd say to me, Mike, because he did a state bid when he was younger and he's a great kid, Johnny, Italian kid. And he got in a thing where he hit an Asian kid with a bat and he was only 17 and they got him for civil rights violations, and he did like 3 or 4 years in state prison. Then he was trafficking a lot of coke, and he got jammed up again. And he said, Mike, the difference between going to state bid and going to the feds is state bid, when you get indicted, you're looking at your paperwork, it says, because Massachusetts is a Commonwealth, obviously. Commonwealth versus Michael Lee. Commonwealth versus
States of
He goes,
America.
when you got your paperwork and it says United States of America versus, John LaPome.
One person.
He goes, you're fucked. You got the United States of America prosecuting you. Like, what's your fucking chances?
I got a buddy of mine that I don't talk about it too much because I was thinking about you guys on my drive down here with all the stories that you have and knowing like all the stories that I have. and thinking about all the stories that you must have that you can never tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That you can never
there's
tell.
a lot of them.
And, you know, when I first moved to Brockton, I got wrapped up with the wrong crowd and I didn't know any better. I hung out with bad kids in Bridgewater. Different story when you moved to Brockton. I was hanging around with the Cape Verdean kids. And one of my good friends is serving a 25-year prison sentence right now and probably got locked up. I want to say this is maybe like 6 years ago. So he's got
really? Just
in the feds, he's got 20 years left. Yeah. And he was 26 years old when he went in.
Me too.
Yeah.
Same age. Yep.
Yeah. And so I think about him sometimes and it just fucking blows my mind. So to see someone that went through that long of a stretch, and I always think about like how dark my life was at certain points. You know, you hear people always say like, if I could go back and change it, I wouldn't change anything. I'd change a lot of it. Okay. I'd change a lot of it. I would 100% change a lot of things. But you can't. That's the reality of things. And you think about like all the stuff that I've been through, that we've all been through, right? Oh, we all have different stories, but like I sort of get to look at life through a lens that I would have never paid for this lens, but I got the lens and I almost have a leg up against so many people that wouldn't trade shoes with me, but I'm looking at life from a perspective that you can only look through if you've gone through something crazy.
I agree.
So I take what I've been through, then I look at you guys and 25-year stretch, that lens that you're looking through must be one of the most beautiful lenses.
It's amazing.
That no one would ever want to pay the price to look through. Does that make sense?
Sure. And no, listen, but I always say it's not even a testament to me. It's the testament to the people that I've had around me. So when people say like, oh, there's no more good people in this world. I had so many people come to me, like give me money, you know, take care of me, bring me out to dinner. All my friends. I mean, I don't think I paid for a dinner for the first year I was out. I'm saying
Listen,
I just
hasn't.
I still no. Listen, but honestly, God, the most amazing people. That's why I feel blessed every day. And you know what? And it's a great thing for me because I know how great that feels, and I like to do it for other people now.
Right.
Because I know how amazing it feels.
You're going to buy me dinner? Is that what you're saying?
I bought you dinner the last two times.
You're going to be a sandwich.
I bought you the dinner the last two times. I felt bad for you.
I was kind of hungry before we started.
Because you got
buck 50. If he could grab me a slice before I got here, it was like, I don't have the time.
I got to see if we got it in the, if we got it in the stipend.
Before he got out, my friend Spiro was locked up with his co-defendant. So, you know, I started hearing the free Johnny Bad, you know, all this stuff, you know, so I, you know, heard his name for a little bit and you conjure up this image in your mind, you know, this, I don't want to say dirty biker, but I grew up, you know, in the 70s.
Especially a guy in jail for that long. You got to be
greasy.
Absolutely.
The big party.
Haven't shaved since he went in.
Skull and crossbones in the back of his head.
Yeah, the leather vest. You know, the hair.
Dirty.
Ball, but still get the
yes, with the ponytail.
Just come punch you in the nose, even though you guys are friends.
Yeah, fucking one. Hey, 2 teeth, one for candy, one for gum. You know.
And then what did you see?
Then when I saw him, someone showed me the video, and I'm like, wait, where's, you know, he was talking in front of someone. I'm like, he looked like, you know, like a Charlestown guy, like a bank robber, an older guy that done a lot of time in shape, you know, with the baseball hat and the fucking,
I get mafia vibes when I look at him.
Yeah,
he gives me little mafia vibes, I
think he could have went either way when he was younger. He was around both those groups and he chose that one. But Johnny Boy, fucking 27. Don't sell him short. Not 25.
27.
27. But listen, no, this really, obviously you're the guest on the show. And listen, the most remarkable thing I heard is how you got your name. I love it because, you know, I look at it and I'm like, nobody cares Anthony. I'm like, I don't know, you know, like Beanshooter. My friend said Beanshooter wants to interview him. I'm like, what the fuck is a Beanshooter?
Do you know how I don't know what a
Beanshooter is?
No, I have no idea.
Listen, you don't know?
All right.
No, you got to tell the story.
Here we go.
We got to end on that.
Yeah. So when I went to Mickey Wood, took me down to rehab. I was on the methadone clinic. He promised me they had methadone. They take me down slow. I get down there. There's no methadone. I want to kill him. They're like, oh, we got some oxygen. I'm like, are you plugged in? Like, you take one of them. You might as well just give me a fucking Nokia blast. You know what I mean? Like, I'll die. I'm shivering and shaking for 20 days, 25 days, and I leave the detox side. I go over to the rehab and I meet this kid who's a fucking lunatic, and we're still good friends. He called me today, kid P Dub. He's from Staten Island, New York. And one day I was talking to this older guy, Sheldon, you know, and the guy was like, I kicked the methadone in Rikers Island in the 70s, you know. It's going to get better before it gets worse. I'm like, why are you telling me that? Like, is this supposed to be a pep talk? Like, I'm dying, right? And the kid, Peter, comes over to me. He goes, hey, Mike, don't fuck with that guy. He's a fucking bean shooter. I go, what? He's a fucking bean shooter. Don't fucking fuck with that. You'll talk to that guy. I go, wait a minute, time out. I go, what? You don't know what a bean shooter is in Boston? I go, come on. I feel like the kids in South Park, they didn't know what the queef was.
Right.
They got like the leather jacket. They make up a word.
Right.
And he's like a flapper, a kappa, you know, like a bullshitter.
Right,
Someone's always exaggerating and lying. Shut up, you fucking bean shooter. I thought it was the funniest thing. I was still sick. I was crying, laughing. So I just started calling everyone a bean shooter. Someone would be telling a story in group. Shut the fuck, you fucking bean shooter.
Yeah, you took it and ran with it.
I took it and ran with it. So,
Imagine.
Yeah.
That's great. That's funny.
No, listen, those two names right there, and I'm saying,
we both got it from roommates in rehab.
And how good is this? I'm saying you guys are like not just guys that got nicknames, right? You got 800,000 followers. This guy got 400,000 followers. I'm saying like these are like big names that everybody knows on Instagram. Like, so I'm like, of course I know his story, right? But I'm like, nobody cares, Anthony. I'm like, what the fuck does this guy even? How the fuck? What the fuck does this? Doesn't even make sense. Like the guy's a comedian, thought it was gonna be funny guy Anthony or something. But amazing, that's great, and that was the best part of the whole show for me. Great.
So now we
shout
know.
out Franny from Everett. My name.
Hopefully he gets it, man.
I talk to him sometimes, and I always tell him that I always have faith in him. You know what I mean? I'll never write him off.
As long as you're breathing, you got a chance.
That's it.
And you know, you just said something. I'll end on this note. If you could go back and change anything, did you ever see the movie The Fighter?
Of course.
So there's a character in it, Boo Boo, who was like family to me, like Dickie and Mickey are family to me. And Boo Boo was, you know, I lived with him right until I got clean, and you know, he's no longer with us. And when I come back, he was, he got real sick, and he was dying. I was with him. I was with him in the nursing home, and he died on Christmas. And I was with him till about midnight. It turned Christmas, and I left, and he died an hour later. And I got a call. But right before I left, he was saying, his voice was real weak. He says, Mike, you know, I call him, I go, what's up? He's like, come here. And I had to put my ear to his mouth. And he said, if I could change anything, I said, yeah. He said, I'd change everything. And I was like, oh, you know, I think of that all the time, you know? And I said, hey, boom, man, we got to play the hand we're dealt. We're all in now. We can't be talking like that. And he just smiled, you know? He went to sleep. He was dead an hour later.
Wow.
And, you know, I tell people that story like, I don't want to be that guy. Dying full of regret. You know what I mean? I wish I did this. Or I wish I didn't do this. Or I wish I talked to my kids. And I think of that, you know, so often. You know, what a you know, it's probably the last thing you ever said to anyone. I mean, I'm sure it was, you know, and I think of that shit all the time, you know, and there's stuff we wish we could change, but even through your worst of times and Johnny's worst of times, and I can only speak for myself, whether it was in prison or in rehab or whatever. I talked to a guy yesterday, a great guy from the North End. He got a hold of me, and he used to work in Tewksbury Detox. I met some great people. This guy, Pal, you know, I think his last name was Contrada. He knew the owner of the corner store. He knew what today's father. He was friends with him. So I got a hold of him. He was always real nice to me in there. And in prison, I met friends that I'm still friends with to this day. So even through those times, like you met like this kid, Franny, what was his name? Was that his name?
Franny, yeah.
Yeah, Franny. Like, even though you wish you'd change some stuff, even during those times, right? We've met people and experienced things that it's like you look back and it's like, well, if I didn't go through that, I never would have met Nobody Cares Anthony. And here we are. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But Ant, thanks for coming on,
listen,
man.
Thanks for having me.
Listen, great story.
Thanks for having me.
Great story.
Appreciate it.
No, thank
We
you.
gotta go up to Cranston and check you out.
No, absolutely, 100%.
Let's go.
Look at that.
Beanshooter, like a jet, let's go. Beanshooter, it's not a line he doesn't toe. In a world full of dogs, you're gonna need a dog catcher. If you're wearing a mask out there, the fresh air's gonna get you. He always shoots from the hip for iced coffee.